I'm Sam.
I'm Adam.
And today we're venturing back into the vast world of Opeth to talk about their 1999 Opus Still Life.
Woo! We a lot of big things about this album. This is a big album for a lot of reasons, and we're gonna get into that.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
But before that, we gotta talk about what we've been listening to.
Woo! I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of music at least. So.
Yeah, I've been listening to a decent amount. Not as much Hollywood and Dead as I'd like, but
yeah,
our listening habits can't be perfect.
Exactly.
Right?
Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
Let's talk about this Madison Beer album.
All right, we can talk about the Madison Beer album. Well, I reviewed this brand new Madison Beer album, Life Support, for the blog, so you can read that article on there now. But I don't know, it's okay.
Yeah, it's like perfectly mid. Like, this is one of those rare 5 out of 10s.
It's got some good stuff, it's got some bad stuff, and it's got some interesting ideas. I will say I will listen to the next Madison Beer album when it comes out, because I am interested to see what she's gonna do.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously I'm very cynical whenever we talk about like the mainstream pop apparatus.
Right.
We like to remove ourselves from it, but I don't know. I'm sort of surprised that Madison Beer hasn't had any like super mainstream success.
Yeah.
Like, she's been bubbling directly underground for a long time. Like, she has a crazy social media presence. She's very conventionally attractive. She's like comes from a very wealthy background, so she's had the industry push for a long time. And it's just sort of interesting to see like if any of the songs here will like result in like mainstream success.
I mean, I know that some people already, like, know who this record is. I mean, like, I was talking to my roommate, and, she was listening to one of the songs, and I was like, lol. This isn't the best song in the album.
No, definitely, the White Rabbit's probably the best song on the album.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been following her career with a passing interest. And this is her major label debut.
Yeah.
She's definitely a talented vocalist. I don't know, these songs just aren't amazing.
Yeah, no, there certainly needs to be a little bit more originality to her sound. She's taking from the Billie Eilish or Ariana Grande camp a little hard.
Well, I mean, I just feel like one of the things that like really makes Ariana Grande like such a force is that like every single one of her records is done by fucking Max Martin of all people. And like Madison Beer doesn't have that.
No.
But she's clearly talented, and she clearly has at least some points of originality.
Yeah.
And I don't know, yeah, like I said, we'll see if this manifests in anything, and we'll see if her next album's actually good.
We will see that indeed. But on to better music. I don't know. This
Paranorm album is sickeningly good.
I know. Right?
It's sickeningly good.
Who needs Vector anyway, dude? We have Paranorm.
Never
now.
Heard of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, these 2 new Vector singles kind of suck.
I think they're okay.
But
I think they're pretty run of the mill.
Then these like this random prog thrash Swedish group just comes out of nowhere with like the best thrash record of the year, and I've heard in a while.
It is very good. I will agree to that.
Yeah, and like it's good in a way where like they're like, you really do get the feeling that they're replicating some of the magic of like Rust in Peace or Jiffa or like the early Voivod stuff, like just sort of like the lightning in a bottle like energy, where like you combine like technicality, melody, musicianship, and the aggression of thrash, and it's amazing. It's so good.
Yeah, very good.
Every single one of these songs just slaps, and I guarantee if this band had been around in the 80s, they would be huge now.
I mean, it's not like they're not gaining traction.
No, exactly. So, yeah, I don't know. Paranorm, good.
Yeah, listen to the Empyrean, the new Paranorm album.
Yeah, literally, though, who needs Vector, right?
Who needs Vector anymore when you have Paranorm? Yeah, I can agree with that. But anyway, I gotta look at that thing again. I forgot what was on the Untitled Chapter. So there's this band called Knoll. They're from Memphis, Tennessee, and they just dropped their debut. They're death grind with a good old mathcore edge to it, and it's just the heaviest album of the year so far.
Really?
Yeah, it's like if you take your Fawn Limbs and your Full of Hells and you throw them in a blender together, it's just. I don't really think it's it's nothing like super original, but it's fucking heavy.
Understandable.
And so yeah, it's just like 30 minutes of just really aggressive balls to the wall death grind.
No, they had this band's like on like an OK label, or is it self-released?
They are on an OK label. They're on or they're not on a label. It might be self-released.
Well, I know I got a press release for this and for my radio station, and it was like one of those super like over the top like no brings you in like I don't know your ass into the next generation of grindcore or something.
I think they are independent, but guess who mixed this album?
Kurt Ballou.
So right, that gives you any inclination.
It's probably good.
Probably pretty good.
Did you watch that the Kurt Ballou premiere guitar?
I watched
video?
A little bit of it, but I can't listen to that much gear shit for that long. And
I love that series, and just hearing Kurt just go off and like spurg out about all these crazy gearhead things for an hour and a half was insane. That man knows more than anyone.
Yeah, that's what experience gets you, I guess.
He gave me a good justification for recording with EMGs.
There you go.
I was surprised. Anywho, let's see.
But yeah, listen, Interstice by Knoll.
Yeah, I literally can't. Let me go on my Spotify. The Blackened Hardcore record or Hardcore Black Metal. Yeah, by Qualin.
Oh yeah.
Unod and Sunut. So I read. Was this in? I think this was in the black market.
It's been in a bunch of publications.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It's been
I read
covered.
a little blurb for it, and just describes it as like black and hardcore. But what I didn't expect was just how much second wave influences in here. Like I swear, there are deliberate nods to some like really dark, throaty stuff. I could swear I could have heard the lead line for "I Am the Black Wizards" in there, and so I don't know. It's really, especially now, it's so interesting hearing all these artists like 20, 30 years later pay direct homage to that stuff and reject it with their own thing. But no, this record's pretty good. I've only listened to it a few times, but each time I'm like, yep, it's pretty good. So
I haven't actually listened to it yet. It's like next up in my
in the spreadsheet.
in the spreadsheet. Like I have like it's like actually the next album that I have to listen to.
Really? Yeah, you'll enjoy it. You'll be like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
it's definitely well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's the next one. But
one be like, I'm so ignorant.
That's one thing that's not on my my little 3x3 that I want to talk about, because most of this is actually old stuff that we've talked about. But one thing that's not is a new Fonge album.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you played it.
Yeah.
That I didn't know. Is it good?
Dude, it's 2 15-minute long songs by Fonge. Okay, this band can't do wrong, and they don't do wrong on Pantocrator. I don't know why it's out now fully, but it's supposed to release in May. But listen to it now. It's just I don't know.
Fonge more like bass.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so heavy. Like I'm thoroughly engaged throughout the entire runtime of this song. So, of each one of the songs.
But you're not thoroughly engaged for the new Architects record. Typical.
We'll talk about that at some point. Not now. This is not the place for it. This is not the place.
I didn't even know it came out. How the heck did we miss it last week?
Because no one cares anymore. Even like the big publications are throwing it like under their like this exists stuff. Like this is coming out, but we're not going to highlight it. So
fair. I mean, I don't know. I kind of hate Architects. So.
Yeah, I think most do. Well, that's not true. A lot of people like Architects, but beside the point. What else have you been listening to, Sam?
A lot of indie, a lot of modern indie.
Interesting. Any highlights?
Well, all the stuff I have to listen to is pretty like bare bones.
Meh.
I don't know. Daft Punk broke up, and listening to some Daft Punk.
Yep.
Listened to Kid A last week, and you know what? That album's a 10.
Yeah, it is a 10.
Kid A, everything. I can't do that. Let's see. Listen to a fair amount of weird electronic music. The hyperpop bubble has burst. There's so much hyperpop getting released in the underground. It's insane.
Yeah.
If you just look on the top 100 RYM records right now, like I think like 10 of them are hyperpop.
Jesus.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, just a lot of Opeth. So.
Gotcha. Check out this. There's 2 albums I have left to talk about. There's a new group. Well, it's the Bluetown Norse Guitarist solo project.
Solo project for his. Oh my! Wait, is that literally? Oh, I didn't even realize that. Apparently, it's just kind of underwhelming though.
It's okay, but listen to it if you like Bluetown Norse, and you should support it anyway.
Specifically,
but it is
if you like the more straightforward melodic second wave Bluetown Norse, and not their avant-garde tendencies.
Also true. It's okay. I would recommend listening to it. There are a few standout tracks. Track 2,
the first
track 1,
track's great too,
and the last track are really, really good. The midsection does kind of die a bit. And the other
one, black metal.
Yeah,
it can't be interesting.
The last record I want to talk about is the new one from Black Sheep Wall. Who
is this record really amazing?
I really fucking enjoy it. I think that it's not for everyone. And obviously the post-hardcore vocals, which they're better than most post-hardcore vocals. But over the sludge metal, and I mean like really gritty, hard sludge metal, like it works a lot. And they really have a good blend of being able to, I guess, keep things intense, but also pull it back a little bit, make it that post-hardcore that it's sort of rooted in. But this album's really heavy too, and it's got some killer lines. I don't exactly remember, but in the last song, I think one of the repeated lines is "masturbate to feel the pain away" or something like that. And you can understand all the vocals here because it's post-hardcore. So it's, I don't know. I think it's pretty good. Really heavy. I've been listening to it for the last couple of days.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like top 10 on RYM right now, and that's always a good sign.
It's pretty good, but it's definitely not for everyone. It is certainly an interesting genre blend that you don't hear often, but I think it works.
Fair. Anything else? Are we ready to talk about Still Life?
I think we're just about ready to talk about Still Life. I'm just gonna go really quick through. If you haven't listened to the Earthshine album yet, do it. It's amazing.
Wow, typical.
That's all. That's all I have though. That's all my new stuff.
All right.
That was another podcast. But yeah, Still Life. Now, Sam, why is Still Life an important chapter in the Opeth discography? Would you like to start the explanation? I could also input when necessary.
Well, so Still Life was released but a year after My Arms, Your Hearse. It was the first album to feature the full Golden Age lineup, which we now think of when we think of the best Peth releases of Martin Mendes on bass, Martin Lopez on drums, Peter Lundgren on guitar, and Michael Ackerfeld on guitar and vocals. And this was the first album where they all really got to contribute as a band to it. It was also the first album where they really fully realized the promise of their initial their initial sound. And also, this acted as a gateway album for many, many, many metal fans in the late 90s. In fact, if you go on r/prog metal, chances are, if you're above a certain age, this is the album that got you into prog metal.
Interesting.
And it's very, I mean, it's pretty important because this sort of cements the Opethian sound, which would define the next, 7 years of their career. And it fires on all cylinders, and it's a really landmark release for the genre.
Sure. Yeah.
This is also the first Opeth album to gain larger distribution. The first 3 records are on Candlelight, and this one's on Peaceville, which was noticeably bigger.
Sure.
And so it allowed them to reach a much wider audience than they previously done. It didn't do very well commercially, and in the underground it was a pretty big release. And this was sort of like the springboard that would allow them to really rocket ship to the moon, if you will, with Blackwater Park, which came out 2 years later.
To the moon. Well, yeah, I think that's pretty accurate on the nose. I don't really have too much to add. I think that, we sort of talked about how the Opeth style was cemented on My Arms Your Hearse. At least the foundations were. But obviously Still Life is Opeth. It's no clearer on any record than it is here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say My Arms Your Hearse was when they poured the lava into the sword, canister or whatever.
Sure,
and Still Life was when they turned it into a blade.
Right.
My Arms Your Hearse had all the elements, and it sounds a lot more similar to Still Life than anything prior in their discography. But Still Life is them definitely perfecting that formula.
Yeah.
Just a really potent blend of death metal and prog rock. And some folk stuff.
Sam, you know what I love about this album?
No interludes.
There's no.
I was gonna meme. I was gonna say Adam's favorite Opeth album is gonna be Still Life because it's better than Blackwater Park because it doesn't have an interlude.
There are no interludes, but this album has amazing flow. Really does.
No, I agree. Yeah, no, I mean, there's a reason why this album's so beloved by boomers, and by boomers I mean people over 20. But it's there are only 7 songs. All of them are around 10 minutes, except for Benighted, and all of them just flow immaculately. They're super, super, super well done. You got riffs on days, you got vocal melodies for days, you got nice, concise climaxes, and you got a story to top it all off. This album's a concept album.
It is a concept album, yes.
Did you get? I sent you a link.
I did read the concept.
Do you like how that website is circa 2001?
Yes, that is easily one of the oldest websites I have ever visited, and that's sad, but it's true.
Lur Zoomer, Lur Boomer.
Yeah, literally Liz Zoomer Boomer.
Yeah, I mean, also this record has a really consistent aesthetic image, that very iconic red thing sort of came to define the death metal sound for years to come.
It gives me. And it's funny, when I was reading the story, I was like, oh my god, the Castlevania anime is all I can picture. And that's bad, but that is the immediate picture that snapped into my mind. It's the gothic horror with, the whole red sheen over it, and this dumb little love story about this guy and this girl, and the Christian church is the bad guy. Yeah.
Honestly, it makes me think of Wuthering Heights more than anything else. Which, I mean, I guess it's saying the story in this album is very tropey and it's been done in various forms before. But it ties into those good old fashioned English genre cliches that we're all used to.
Yeah.
And I will say, I think here is where Opeth lyrics start getting at least a little more discernible and a little bit better. There's a lot of romantic imagery here. The dark naturalism we've come to know and love.
Naturalism.
Also, this album, if there was subtle usage of Ebo before this record, this album has just Peter Lundgren going to town with the Evo on every track.
Yeah.
The album literally opens with an Evo section and sets the mood for the rest of the thing.
It's funny. Sorry to interrupt. I just want to take a quick, brief interlude. My friend today asked me what an emo was, and I wouldn't have known what an emo was unless we had to do this series of podcasts. So, but anyway, yes, Evo is very important on this record.
Yeah, I mean, the record sounds like very modern. Like if I heard, especially the remix, the remaster, the original mix is a little compressed, it's a little muddy, and you can actually hear a cough on the More during one of the acoustic sections.
For really?
Yeah,
that's funny. Now I have to go listen.
The remix is pretty, like, it's pretty solid. Like you'd never guess this record was recorded like over 20 years ago.
Sure.
It's very reverby. It's very spacious. Punchy guitar tones. Michael's vocals sound great. The bass is very much there. And once again, Martin Lopez leans into a much warmer style of playing that really comes through on a lot of these tracks. Like his background as a bossa nova jazz drummer, you definitely get that from basically every tune here, and really makes cuts like Face of Melinda truly come out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's the rhythmic force of the two Martins. There's the dual guitar force of Michael and Peter, and then, you know, Michael Ackerfeldt's incredible penchant for just melody and songwriting. And, you know, it's funny. I'd highly suggest people read the Invisible Orange's 20 Years on Still Life interview. There are a lot of fun nuggets about the way this album's recorded, but basically all the vocals in this album were improvised and recorded in one night, which is kind of hysterical. You never would guess that, honestly.
No. And it's, I don't know, I mean, it's kind of weird that a concept was birthed out of it, but also it's kind of typical Opeth to sort of repeat themselves in songs and themes. Like, I don't know, like, we talked about it a little bit when we talked about My Arms, Your Hearse, and especially those, especially Orchid, where, like...
Oh, yeah.
The lyrics are all the same. Like, and they all have they're all trying to say the same thing. But it's funny that even when improvised, there's a little bit more here in terms of, I guess, a story or whatever the songs are trying to tell.
I will say, like, I mean, this story isn't like an end-all be-all. There's some nice anti-religious imagery. There's some nice, like, romantic thematics, but it's pretty, like, bare bones and just serves as a background for the pretty exceptional music here.
Right.
And if you have anything else, if not, we can dive into the more.
I don't have anything in particular. We should just dive right in.
Man, okay. So actually, I found on I was browsing r/Opeth before this podcast and found some choice memes.
I did not like the memes that I was. No, they were pretty funny.
Tits are temporary, but the sun sets on Blackwater Park forever. But anywho, funnily enough, the highest voted song, like they did one of those polls for the best Opeth song, and the More actually won.
That's really interesting.
On all of r/Opeth, and I kind of see it. Like, this song is just kind of amazing in every sense. Like, perfect album opener. You start off with these really the really, like, spacious, really subtle ebow and like dual guitar leads. Then you go to a nice acoustic melody, which sort of builds into the opening death metal gallop. And what a death metal gallop it is.
Death metal gallop. Yeah, I mean, this song, it just, it perfectly conveys what the rest of the album's going to offer, and leaves you with an absolutely memorable track that
exactly.
is
this is
probably unrivaled on this record.
I agree. I feel like this is like the moment where the Opeth's tracks start becoming entirely like recognizable. Like, I could sing this entire song from front to back from my melody. It's just or from my memory. It's amazing. Like that opening, you know, the very classic Acker riff into the and then, you know, you got Michael, who on this record literally sound like, I don't know, it sounds like this dude spent 20 years in the wilderness, raised by wolves before coming into contact with any sort of human society.
Interesting way to put it, but yeah, sure.
No, like, his growls really are kind of otherworldly.
They're very impressive. For sure. On this one. In particular. Strongest they've been, even.
I agree, and like it's really cool being seeing them able to switch from the death metal sections to the clean sections with such like adeptness. Like there's not a single transition on this record that feels forced, which is very impressive considering it's an hour of prog.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and when we finally leave the death metal section on this track in the first 5 minutes, and we switch to like the pale touch writhing in the ember section, which another thing about this album, all the clean sections are very memorable. Like from memory, I can sing all of them.
Certainly, I won't say the most memorable they will get, but up there, certainly.
Yeah, exactly. And like a lot of the guitar lead work here is also phenomenal. Like it's not as in your face as the first two albums. It's not as over the top as some certain things. It's just very subtle, serves the song. And when it comes time for both Peter and Michael to solo, they just shred your faces off.
Oh yeah, they do a really nice job of keeping I guess the heart of Opeth, which is based around, the intense guitar work and rhythmic sections, while still making it accessible and adding in the proggy goodness that it needs to make the product it's trying to.
Yeah, no, I agree. And gosh, like I think just some of the best, probably the best, one of the best moments in the Opeth discography is both times leading into one of the not even like a refrain, but where sort of everything cuts out and you just get like the one guitar doing that melody with the do no 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 no, and then everyone comes in. Michael's like on cloud nine. Outcast with dogmas force be la, and everyone's just going bananas. It's so sick.
Yeah, and, they're definitely having a lot of fun on this album, and they're having fun writing together collectively for the first time.
Mm-hmm. And gosh, they're just like the climaxes here, and just the musical moments are so memorable. They really stick with you. And they feel full-bodied. Like the post-chorus here, where like, if you'll bear with me, you'll fear all of me. That's a really amazing moment. I like the post-chorus sort of dual guitar thing. Really cool moment. The extended acoustic point here is wonderful, complete with some ebo, some atmosphere, some more stunning vocal melodies, and it all ties together into yet another one of those open spaces where you get the do no 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 into like the final climax of the song, and it's just an amazing tune, like front to back. It's 11 minutes of Opethian goodness that does everything they do perfectly.
Yeah, the ebb and flow here really works, and having that last minute of an epic explosion certainly leaves it just ingrained in your brain.
Yeah, exactly. And it's definitely a stunning way to open up the album, and keeps the mood high. And, I guess we'll do the typical thing where we talk about the lyrics of the song after we talk about instrumental or the musical aspect. So this album is a very tropey story where this dude who's like, he's outcast from his village because he's an atheist. And so he comes back to the village to seek his like lover from 15 years ago. This song is literally him coming back to the village, which is in the moor, which is a part of England where it's, it's very rocky, very open expanses of fields, not too much civilization there. Which kind of sets the tone nicely for this record. And the dude's returning to the village, and there's just a lot of cool imagery, like when he's talking about Melinda, and he says, "She is water drops over the pyre, a thistle in my hands, stained and torn, aged and brown, virtuous shell with kindred innocence." Like Michael's not afraid to get worthy, and a lot of the delivery here is pretty fun, especially with the death metal stuff, like that line in the first half where he says, "Wearing my death mask at birth." I always come back to that one. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think it's the Opeth cheese certainly hasn't left, but it is much more refined and focused, especially with lyricism. Because I don't know. I guess the meme has always been that the worst part of Opeth is the lyrics, but at the same time, they're certainly not bad by any means.
Yeah, no, they really aren't.
Yeah, they paint a really nice picture of exactly what the band is trying to convey, and their music is a perfect backdrop for that.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of perfect backdrops, Godhead's Lament, which I always thought was a cool title, is the second track on the record, and it opens up with a definitive, mellow death bang.
Yeah.
They're doing the thing where one guitarist, probably Michael, is playing chords while Peter's doing some fun lead stuff on top, and it builds really nicely. You got the rhythm section going ham, and then Michael eventually comes in with rending the earth with his screams, as always.
I mean, this song is, I guess, the best way they can do a death metal focus track now in their career.
And I agree.
Balancing, they do ebb and flow again, but it is.
Yeah, I mean, what's really nice here is the way that the riffs are able to change without being they're able to be similar and create a like you said, a really nice ebb and flow, going from really fast, really intense riffs to slower, more forbidding riffs while staying at the same tempo. It's really cool. The second riff is similar to the first one, but it's a lot breathier, has a lot more room to breathe.
Yeah, they're just. This is another example of the way that Opeth is just able to create such a unique and varied sound that has so many influences, but still remains distinctly their own. Because even on a track like something like Face of Melinda, that's still distinctly Opeth, but at the same time they're only using, I guess, half of their palette. Doesn't make it any less an amazing song, but on something like Godhead's Lament, where you really see the full scope of everything they're trying to offer, it's brilliant.
Yeah, and once this none of these tracks really feel their length, and their ability to just bounce between engaging melodic ideas is ever impressive. I really like the descending ahs here.
Yeah,
I think they're really nice. The acoustic section's pretty nice too. You have the thing that Michael loves to do where he'll play an open chord and then descend with one finger as he goes through it. And I mean, I like the clean lyrics. The thought I could not leave this place that is imminent.
I was gonna say this chorus always gets me just because it's so kind of epic, and the vocal performance is really sticky.
I agree.
I just love it.
No, I agree. The searching my way through perfection.
Bam, bam, bam. Yeah, it's just great.
Yeah, no, it's really fun, and it works really well, and it flows really well. I know we're repeating a lot, but I mean that's sort of the mood. That's this album in a nutshell. The whole thing's very consistently solid.
Yeah.
And and no, I'm just like it's good. It's alright. You really can't go wrong.
Mm-hmm. The acoustics on this song also sound great, as they have on the last track. But
I agree.
Yeah, it's Opeth. It's just Opeth at its finest again. I certainly think that this is one of the highlights on the album, even still, this early on.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely starts off pretty strong.
Yeah.
And lyrically, this song is about our boy walking around town and realizing that his waif, Melinda, is a nun now, except she's not content being a nun.
She wants to be free and have love with good old the protagonist. The unnamed. Does he have a name? The outcast?
He's unnamed.
Yeah.
And which leads into the next song, which, spoiler alert, is Benighted.
How do you feel about this track?
I feel like, okay, don't kill me. I feel like it's I feel this song's kind of boring. It's good, Don't get me wrong.
I would agree. It's kind of boring, but it is very good. I think it's...
and I mean...
One of their...
Opeth's...
No, you can go.
Sorry.
Go.
Opeth albums love to do this thing where, like, they open with, like, 20 to 25 minutes of just death metal.
Yeah.
And then slap you in the face with an acoustic interlude.
Right.
This is, like, the third time they've done it at this point, and this is their discography, and it works. Benighted's nice because it shows that not only can, Michael craft really engaging prog death songs, but he can craft engaging, like, folk songs on his own with some gorgeous acoustic guitar melodies and repeated chorus.
Yeah. This song, to me, sort of, I guess, puts into perspective the fact that Michael can't just write a good death metal riff, he can also really write a really nice acoustic song. Because even in those other tracks, like, there's not too much that they have to do with those acoustic sections. But I think the song does keep it kind of interesting if you're listening to the guitar part alone. That being said, this song does go on for a little too long. And I kind of wish that it switched it up a little more. Maybe even got heavier. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's funny because, Face of Melinda does that exact thing.
Yes.
But, I think I do like how when the percussion comes in at, like, actually it's like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
For the guitar solo, it sort of recontextualizes the rest of the song.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree with that.
Playing a really smooth beat. Other Martin's laying down a fat bass line, and the solos is pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, the song is not bad by any means. It's definitely good.
After learning this whole album on guitar in preparation for this podcast, this song in particular is pretty fun to play. Yeah. A lot of nice open voicings for guitar chords, a lot of fun finger-picked runs that aren't too difficult. And Michael's vocal line's pretty engaging throughout. I will say, I feel like this song has, like, the most boring clean vocal on the on the record. I just don't think the "coming to this night" is a very interesting line.
I just wish it was switched up more. I think that if it was played a little more with, it could have had some more room to shine. I really like I like the vocal lead, but I do wish it changed a little bit.
No, I agree.
So
I do really like the ending of this song too, where it's just like, acoustic run into just playing an open harmonic. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the very least, it is a nice break in the track list. And Opeth, they've known how to do this for a long time. When you have 20 minutes of death metal, it's nice to throw in a little clean section.
Yeah. Is this the worst song in the album?
Probably.
I don't. It's hard to say that there's a bad song in this album. There isn't. But I would probably say that it's just because of the lack of variety, and I guess it's just like it's not the Opeth I'm looking for here. It's certainly welcome, but
we'll see a little bit later in their career, like Opeth will learn, even on the next album, they'll learn how to make a song like this a lot more interesting.
Right.
Like with Harvest, with Hours of Wealth, with every song on Damnation.
Right.
So this they'll definitely improve upon this formula, but at the very least, it's a nice breather.
Yeah.
And it's funny because lyrically, this song is about the protagonist meeting with Melinda and being like, "Yo, dude, run away with me from this place," and she's like, "I'm a nun. No,
I can't.
Not now, Heathcliff."
Yeah, but we'll see what happens on the next track.
Okay, Moon Love's Vertigo, honestly underrated.
I agree.
Every time for a while I was like, this song kind of sucks, and then I just sort of listened to it more.
Yeah,
and it's continually quite solid.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this track personally, but I think I think that the riff is really nice, really memorable. And
one thing we haven't really talked about is like the way that Opeth has sort of just hard transitioned into doing a very particular style of like death metal riff at this point. Like there are two types of guitar passages on this album. There are Acker riffs, which are generally have both guitars doing a nice angular, drawn-out riff that sort of call to attention the best aspects of prog in a death metal context. And then you have, typically Michael playing a rhythm part, where he'll play some distorted chords, while Peter does a nice lead melody on top, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And it lends it a much more traditional feel, allows for more melody, and sounds pretty nice while doing so. And this song opens with one of those.
Yeah. I love a lot of things in this song. I love the clean vocal melody. I think that it's really unique and it sticks out. And then I love the theatrical refrain of the very proggy da-da-da. Like, it's so cheesy, but every time it happens, I'm like, oh yeah, Opeth, give it to me.
Well, what makes this song pretty interesting is for unlike a lot of the songs on this album, which generally have like a heavy riff, another heavy riff, another heavy riff, a chorus, and then they repeat that formula. We see that on The More, we see that on Godhead's Lament, we see that on White Cluster, we see that on Serenity Painted Death. This song is very much going between an A section and a B section.
Yeah.
Like after the intro, because the intro you get a nice thing. You have this gorgeous guitar lead, which I really like. The do no 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 no. That's really nice. And then suddenly we're switching between an acoustic section and a heavy section. We do that a few times, which is the do 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 into the do 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 do. You know, that really fun triplet thing.
Yeah.
And they just go back and forth between that for a while, and it works really nicely.
Yeah, I mean, this is just another testament as to Opeth being able to switch up their own sound and still keep it unique and sounding great.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like you said, the clean melody here is really wonderful. Mm-hmm. Twisted, like dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, no, it's one of my favorites on the album, just because it is kind of, I don't know, unlike Benighted, it moves around a lot and keeps it interesting.
And the way it sort of transitions into the last part of the song is wonderful, where you get, that open guitar chord, playing an open guitar chord, moving up the neck, playing another open guitar chord, do, do, no, 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 no. And then the way it goes into, like, the sickest solo section of the album is really cool.
Yeah.
Suddenly it gets really heavy, and, one of them is shredding, and it's dope.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird that you mentioned earlier the growls in this album being a little more, I guess being a little more primal, because you do hear it, and I think on this track, in this heavy section, because you've had not that for a while, it really shows that color. So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I agree, but like re-listening to the track, I can see it in particular in this.
Yeah,
one.
Exactly, and it's cool that Michael opens all the heavy transitions with his signature, like going into them, and it sounds sick. Mm-hmm. And also, like the last little refrain at the end of the song, is the guitar melody is beautiful. It's very choral. It's very very melodic, and this way it sort of like leads into Face Melinda, as always, is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, the ending verse is the ending clean verse is really nice to me too, because it is a very nice take off of what the group's been doing for the whole song.
Yeah, no, I agree. And this song, really interpolates melodies throughout quite nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Lyrically, it's sort of pretty vague. It seems to be like the dude's just walking around either at night or in a castle in the town and thinking about like, oh, he's undercover from the Council of the Cross, which I'm going to choose to read as metaphorical and not literally.
Jesus Christ.
He's like, you know what? That's it. I saw Melinda. I'm going to get her. And so he's going to meet up with her again.
They're going.
That's Face of Melinda, which is one of the group's most famous songs.
And for good reason.
My God. Like, we've talked about these tunes being memorable. Holy shit. I know every note in the song. Every note. It's just ingrained permanently in my memory.
I don't even play guitar, and I know every guitar line in this song. It's so easy to it's so poignant.
Sticky?
It's so sticky. It's so beautiful. The switch ups are memorable. Like I know every transition. I know every.
I agree.
It's
like everywhere from the opening. Bam, bam, it's very fun. It's very sticky. The verse is great. You get the by the turnstile beckons a damsel fair. Do 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 do. And yeah,
I mean,
right.
If you don't know who Opeth is, you should probably listen to Faces of Melinda. If you've been listening to this podcast passively, first of all, great. We appreciate it. But if you haven't listened to a single Opeth song up until this point, this is the one you need to listen to. Because I don't know, this is like the Opeth clean song. And if you're interested in the band whatsoever but don't know where to start, I don't know, maybe try Face of Melinda.
Yeah,
honestly, try Still Life.
This song does so many cool melodic things too. Like the turnaround into the heavy section's gorgeous. The way it builds into the heavy section's gorgeous. With the do 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 do.
It really takes its time. It doesn't rush into it.
Yeah, it just leans on that, and then the do do is such a sick thing. And then we get that final Acker riff, the do 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 do. And it's so and I
absolutely
love
hits.
One thing that you don't even notice about the song is that the entire thing's clean because it gets so intense in the second half that you just kind of forget.
Yeah, but it's still it is a prog song. It's not a death metal song by any means. But yeah, no, it's really clean the whole time, and it builds to an awesome climax.
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
It's just great. I mean, there is a reason that this is one of Opeth's biggest, if not their biggest track. I don't actually know.
They played this song at every live show for 15 years, for good reason.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, when everything culminates into the do 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 do, and then everything gets even heavier and does that again. It's sick. It's a really wonderful tune. The way it's gorgeous, the way it builds is really clever. It's very sticky. Gorgeous performances by everyone around, and special note to Lopez's drumming here because it's very simple, but it works very well.
Mm-hmm. Especially during the section where it's going into the heavy section, after after the vocals have tapered off for a little bit, and it's got some nice polyrhythm baloney going on in there. It's very cool.
Yes, it is very cool.
It works well.
Yeah, this song is about literally the same thing as Benighted, except here Melinda's yeah, all right.
Melinda's in now.
Yeah, at the end she says she baffled herself with the final line, "My promise is made, but my heart is thine." So now her heart is with the protagonist, with Michael, instead of the church. And we'll see how that bodes for her
in the next track, which is
Serenity Painted Death.
An interesting song. Kind of corny. I think that this song is pretty good, but I think that the back half of this album just certainly isn't as memorable as the first half.
I agree, and they're memorable and they're really wonderful songs. Don't get me wrong, but they don't pack the same punch as the More or Godhead's Lament.
Mm-hmm.
So, I will say, I absolutely love the intro riff to this song where it's and when Michael finally comes in doing the return from a hibernal dream, it's really sick. I like it.
Yeah. I can agree with that. From there, it transitions into a nice little Peter solo section. Well, yeah, you have a little quick little guitar solo in there.
Yeah.
And then it does turn into the chuggy riff.
And then Michael says, "Look me in the eye." Yeah, no, I mean, this song is kind of memey. Like the chorus where the narrator comes across Melinda's dead corpse hanging.
Oh no.
Is like, it's literally a Morbid Angel riff. The pinch harmonic. And you get the very iconic white face, haggard grin, and the serenity paint to death. Like, it's kind of memey.
It's
works,
so memey.
Every time I hear it, I think it's a little funny.
Yeah. It is a very weird line to scream for him. So, yeah. But, I mean, this song also sounds great. Super proficient songwriting. Even if it is a little less
here
memorable.
are also, like, orgasmic. They're so good here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And this song has a handful of them, so you won't miss them.
I agree.
For sure.
I mean, I like the clean part, the saw her fading part. That's really nice.
Yeah. It is nice.
This song, honestly, it's kind of funny because the second half of it has a lot of tricks that he'll pull again on Deliverance, the album, over and over again, where he's playing sort of the mathcore chords in like a very jerky start-stop pattern.
Yeah.
Like that's very much something I associate with Deliverance.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love like the sort of the clean refrain towards the end, like swathed in filth, like that part.
Yeah.
Those are some really gorgeous chords. It's very cinematic, very nice effect. And then we get one last time of the mimetic chorus.
Yeah.
Going absolutely hard with the white face.
Yeah. It's funny, but overall, very well written. A great tune.
Yeah, great tune. I think the reason why that part sounds so odd too is because this whole album is like so reverbed out and with so many layers. And in that part, both guitars and the bass are all playing the same thing. They're playing one riff, and there's like a distinct lack of space that suddenly is just empty and filled with actual death metal.
Yeah.
But it works nonetheless, and it's a banger. I mean, every song on this album is a banger to some extent.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, so Adam, what do you think? What's this song about?
What, Serenity Paints to Death?
Yeah, dude.
At least from what I understand, the church is coming for him after they came for Melinda, or excuse me, came for them after they came for Melinda. So, he's got to get out of there. He's got to. Oh no, I remember what the song's about. I completely forgot. Oh, he kills everyone.
Yeah,
he goes around and he kills everyone.
He's going to kill everyone.
He's going to kill everyone, and he does.
Yeah, dude. He sees Melinda's dead body hanging, and he just goes berserk. He goes full gamer, dude.
He goes full ape, full gamer. Yeah, he kills everyone. Yeah.
Choking in warm ponds of blood, and then it just collapses because it's so much.
Right. And then they get him.
And into the final song on the album, which ends almost exactly like you guessed it would end.
Yeah.
I will say, White Cluster for a long time I just sort of thought was underwhelming. The song's grown on me in the past week. I still don't think it's as good as The More, but it's definitely up there.
Well, we've established that you can't get better than The More on this album.
True.
But yeah, no, this song's pretty good as well. I would agree that it's not nearly as memorable, but
I feel that. I mean, it does sort of the Moonlapse Vertigo thing where it jumps between the acoustic section and the harsh section, and I think the chorus here is like probably the best, honestly. Like they wear white for me, seemingly jaded and lost. Like that's really gorgeous. And there's some pretty stunning moments here. Like Michael has his longest recorded growl at like 5:49. Right, where we get like
Yeah.
sort of the long acoustic interlude that enter like with
Yeah.
and then Michael has like a 20-second long growl, and it's sick.
Yeah, this song's acoustic section is also really interesting because of kind of how fast it is. Well, not fast, but like up-tempo, I suppose, where it's really pushing and it's keeping the tension that the song has already put in throughout. It really doesn't let up like, I guess, the normal Opeth acoustic section does. It still keeps it pretty intense.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty stunning parts here. Like, there's the hangman clutching at his tools. I will come for you. That's kind of haunting. The noose is tied, murmur through the crowd, plunging into anywhere but here. And, you know, the last lines in the album are great. And I sort of like the way, like how it just sort of reprises the chorus jazz chords while you get the really stunning lead. And then it's, you know, it's an interesting decision where everything goes silent, and then you get a really like analog, very warm solo electric guitar playing an outro. And so it's a very like balls to the wall sort of final track. The chorus is very big. There's that really intense section I mentioned earlier. There's some really wacky solos, trading solos actually.
Yeah, it is a traded wacky solo.
There's like the Dream Theater turnaround riff where it's like
Yeah, you gotta do it to them sometimes. They are a prog band after all.
Yeah, they have to have that riff. But I mean, for a long time I wasn't a huge fan of the song as a closer, but I think it does work, and I think like sort of the strength of that chorus really does work.
Yeah, I agree with that.
To carry it to the end. And it's certainly not a bad song. Like Serenity Painted Death and both White Cluster are good tunes. They're sticky, they're memorable, they're well written. I just don't think they're as good as the first few songs.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. To most of the extent.
Needs more Ebo.
There is quite a bit of Ebo on this track too toward the end. So
yeah, there's.
I don't know if there needs to be more Ebo, but yeah, no
fever, and the only prescription is more Ebo.
It's more Ebo. Yeah, I don't know. I think this album does close well, but I do wish that it's consistent, but I wish that it was more consistent. Like, maybe, I don't know, obviously you can't just throw Godhead's Lament at the end of the track list, but the quality certainly on this album is like, it's a steady decline.
Yeah, and I agree. And, I mean, Face Melinda is pretty amazing, so is Vertigo, but I agree. I think Serenity Painted Death and White Cluster and Benighted aren't as good as the other tracks.
Yeah. Does that come to our final conclusions now that we're sort of talking about the album as a
first
the scope as a whole?
What happens in this?
What happens? Oh, dude, our poor man, he's dying, dude.
He gets hung and he
gets
dies.
hung, but he sees Melinda before he dies, and he knows that they're gonna be together in the end, which is kind of sweet. But also
it's a little sweeter than the ending of My Arms.
Yeah, a little bit. They will be together in death.
Maybe Michael got a girlfriend for this album, honestly.
Maybe he did.
Honestly, based on the age of his daughters, I guarantee that's what happened.
Could be. I don't have that answer, but I'm sure someone does. I'm sure Michael himself does have that answer.
But yeah, I guess like looking at it as a whole, like I see why a lot of people really like this album. I just really don't think it's the same level of quality as all of the works that immediately come after this.
Like, I agree.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's Opeth, and it's Opeth operating at their prime, so it's going to be really solid, but you can't look me in the eyes and say this is better than Blackwater Park, Ghost Reveries, Deliverance, and maybe even Watershed.
Yeah, I certainly don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, because like one of the things that makes Blackwater Park one of the best metal albums of all time is the fact that every song just goes to 11.
Right.
Like every song on Blackwater Park like destroys your expectations in a new way that's kind of phenomenal.
Yeah.
And this album, every song is really, really good, don't get me wrong, but they don't reach that level of like songwriting ascendancy. The mix just isn't as good as like a Steven Wilson mix. Like,
well, it's certainly not as
punchy.
Yeah, it has the old Opeth style of sort of being. There is a layer of just kind of
reverb on everything.
Reverb and atmosphere on everything. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I do think that, for exactly what the Opeth style is, then you're going to want that punchier production offered later in their career.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this album's great. Don't get me wrong. I think it's probably the best Opeth album of the 90s. Like, I don't think that's close.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
But it doesn't touch Opeth of the 2000s.
No.
And it's I know all the 40-year-old, old metal guards type
all
in
the old
comments,
heads
like, well, no, White Cluster is my favorite Opeth song. And it's a good song, don't get me wrong. They're all good, but is anything here as good as like the Leper Affinity or Blackwater Park or the Drapery Falls or Ghost of Perdition or the Grand Conjuration or Hessian?
No, I don't think so. But that being said, this album is still great.
It's an amazingly solid listen front to back. Concepts helps the story. Michael's performances here are phenomenal. The musicianship as a whole is phenomenal. It flows gorgeously, and it's just a wonderful album.
Yeah. Certainly the best of the Opeth as we have come to know so far.
Yeah, no, I agree. Wait, so is our ranking literally just like as the albums
go,
they get better?
Yeah.
Gosh,
See, that's why I was really contemplating like putting Morning Rise over my arm.
As soon as we start hitting like I don't know, like in a few albums it'll start getting wacky, okay?
It will start getting wacky. Yeah. For now we have to unfortunately be locked in the trap that we've dug for ourselves.
So is this album a 9 or 9.25?
I think this album's a 9.25. I do. I really don't think that this record is fully there because of those last two tracks. And Benighted being a tiny bit boring. But I mean, that being said, a 9.25 out of 10 is still a great rating.
Nav would kill for that rating.
I know, Nav would kill for that rating.
And so we're doing it next week. Are we tackling the best metal album of all time?
I mean, I guess we have to. That's the way it goes. That's the way the news goes.
Is the sun gonna set forever over Blackwater Park?
I mean, it might have to. But yeah, no. So we will be obviously returning for that next week. But we're not done yet. We gotta
talk about the way the news goes.
We gotta talk about the way the news goes, and we gotta talk about upcoming releases, of which there are probably a few. I don't have anything huge, but there's stuff to talk about.
It's okay. Certainly. I have some like pointless news that will be like, wow, dude, is this really all they have?
Hey, you know what? Trent and Atticus got another Golden Globe.
Woo, yeah! Do they ever slow down?
They never slow down, they don't sleep, and they never stop making good music. So, yeah.
Why the hell are Biffy Clyro headlining Download?
I don't know. Why is Kiss headlining Download?
Dude, because they're Kiss.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. No.
Look, I hate Kiss, don't get me wrong, but like, they're kind of one of the biggest names in rock history.
Gene Simmons is like dead now.
Gene Simmons actually died.
Gene Simmons doesn't think that rock exists anymore. He has claimed rock is dead. He has said that. And he's gonna be the guy for all these. It's just, I don't think Kiss should headline Download.
Fair. No, I agree. I think that's sort of a shit. I mean, look, Maiden, they deserve to be up there. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
So did we talk about the the mother heckin' Nurgle thing last week?
Briefly.
Yeah,
we touched on it.
Well,
Why?
it might postpone the Behemoth record.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which is kind of sad.
That is sad.
Let's see.
Godsmack, vocalist is peddling coronavirus conspiracy theories.
Wait, Sully?
Yeah. Sully's an anti-COVIDer. Well, he might not be anti-COVID, but he certainly does not believe the full science.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah. Then again,
Like,
Godsmack doesn't actually write music, so yeah.
Godsmack are probably one of the worst popular rock bands of the past 20 years, so.
Yeah.
Let's see, we got
Ghost.
Dude, we got
new surprise Drake tonight.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, here I was going to talk about how we got new Papa just dropped. New Papa dropped, Papa Emeritus the Fourth.
Yeah.
He looks kind of like he's holding a saxophone. He's wearing all white.
Yeah.
Hey, in terrifying and hysterical and also maybe good news, Texas is saying "whoa" to all COVID things, which includes concerts. So if you live in Texas and you want to go to an event and contract COVID and kill your grandparents,
oh my God,
you can now illegally do that, and there are
what
no
the
restrictions
hell?
in the country in the states. Yeah.
If you're a Texas-based band, I implore you to please not perform live. I understand you need to, but I have family in Texas, okay? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's just funny because it's not even like they're doing well. Like they're still
they're
the worst in the goddamn country.
Literally the worst. Up to 10,000 new cases a day. A day.
And then the governor's just whipping
Open it up.
and nay-naying and releasing all COVID restrictions.
Open it up, dude. Open it up. That's absurd to me. That is
it makes negative sense. I mean, this is why America will never recover from COVID.
No.
This is why I'm learning Norwegian.
Yeah, right. It's God, man. It really is hard to watch.
It's just kind of astounding because, these people have info that would suggest that, this is a bad idea.
Yeah. I guess that the dichotomy that this country has so wonderfully laid out for us is just not. It can't change.
Hey, we're recording this on March 4th, and this is the day of reckoning according to QAnon. Actually,
is that true?
Trump, yeah, because it's some ancient clause where Trump actually becomes president today.
All right. Well, it's 3:30 p.m. Let's see what happens.
Let's find out.
Let's find out what happens.
In other metal-related news, looks like Mars Volta is teasing something cool.
Oh, well, that's not really metal news, but that is hard rock news.
I mean, look, I want a new Mars Volta record. It'll probably be good.
I'll take a new Mars Volta.
I want to see them live. God damn it! I want to see them live and open up a wall of death, and then Cedric will be like, "God, stop this! No mosh at our show." Did you see the Lacuna Coil news?
No, I didn't see the Lacuna Coil news. What happened to Lacuna Coil?
So, I honestly don't know how to feel about this. But Lacuna Coil are girls and boys in that lovely Italian group. They promoted a live stream pretty heavily of them and a bunch of other Italian
Oh, yes, I did hear about
that. And they just stood on stage for an hour silently.
Did people pay for that live stream?
I don't know.
If they did, that's not cool. If they didn't, that's very cool. That's how I feel.
The thing is, though, what are they protesting exactly? Because if
I don't even know what they're protesting.
Because if they're protesting that the country should open up during COVID, I'm not a huge fan of that. But if they're protesting that the government should help out local musicians and gigs and venues, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And based like all these tweets or all the things they said are really like it's very both sidesy in that they could be representing both of those things. So like I'm honestly not sure.
I think it's tough because they're certainly not writing that press release. I don't even think the band probably decided to do that. Who are they on? What's Lacuna Coil?
Dude, they're on Nuclear Blast.
Okay, all right. Well, someone decided that they should do that. I don't know who. I can't say that. But I'm in the same camp. I think that this is sort of similar to the Iced Earth thing. Not at all the same, but similar because they're not going to take a stance, and up to this point they haven't really taken a firm stance. And I think that that's going to drive a lot of people away, as if Lacuna Coil's music doesn't drive people away in the first place. I'm not sure, because part of Iced Earth's downfall was the fact that no one in the band would take a side, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And
you
now
really
they're
can't both
fucked for
sides your way through this modern political climate.
You can,
and like, because I mean, I understand like these economies are suffering, and like as a metal musician myself, if I was dependent on like that as a primary source of income, I'd be fucked, to put it lightly.
Yeah, I mean the minute you take a side, though, you have to take a side. Like the minute you get political in the first place, you have to take a side.
I agree. I mean, I think we should be, and these days we should be advocating for, PPE and stuff for businesses and and musicians and whatnot. But I think, opening up the economy before it's ready to be opened up will only lead to more COVID cases and more deaths.
It's a bad idea. Plus, we got a vaccine on the horizon.
Yeah, we literally have a vaccine.
Like, take a chill pill, dude. Like, like this is coming to an end. It's gonna take a little while, but we're getting there. Man.
Speaking of getting there, you ready for BT Bam's Automata 1 and 2 stream?
I am ready for BT Bam's
Automata. And what I love about DT Bam is these streams are free.
They are free.
Thanks, Tommy.
Yeah, thanks, Tommy and the boys. We appreciate your light through this whole thing. And hell, they don't give a shit, dude. They played in fucking Blake's basement, like for the first live stream or whatever. Like that's the way to do it. Like, I don't understand how it's. This is gonna come off bad, but like, it is possible to do these big live streams, especially for bigger artists like BT Bam. Obviously, BT Bam's not huge, but they're certainly a large artist. Like for Lacuna Coil to go through all this effort to set up a live stream and then not do anything with it. That's kind of a smack in the face to a lot of artists. It definitely makes a
strong statement. I just wish they were clear about their political goals.
Yes. Also, it would have been nice if they played some music.
I didn't really...
I'm sure a lot of fans were disappointed.
I'm sure, but I don't know. I can't really lambaste the band if they're struggling during COVID.
Well,
Jesus Christ, they're so big.
Yeah, they're huge, though. You gotta understand. They're a massive group. And so that pulls their credibility into question a little bit. Because if you're not going to take a stance, then you're literally doing this for publicity purposes.
I mean, Metallica is famously apolitical when like both Lars and Kirk and Robert, actually all three of them except for James, are like registered Democrats.
Right. But even then, like, I don't know. I think that's fine. Like, if Metallica is apolitical, as it arguably should be, and the members of the band are outspoken, that's fine. Like, it's one thing when someone like, I don't know, like, take Bob Dylan. If Bob Dylan had an active Twitter and was, still alive, like, he'd be a very vocal...
Dude, this is Bob Dylan erasure, dude.
It would be a very vocal political Twitter. But, that doesn't necessarily make his entity completely political. And, Lacuna Coil putting their band into that political realm is fine if they want to do that, but they do need to take a side.
Fair.
Because people aren't going to stand for that.
No, look, I agree. But do you know what I don't agree with?
What? What don't you agree
Travis Barker being in everything.
Yeah, it is disheartening.
Like, this dude is just like the most popular like team up artist with anyone in the hip hop or rap world. I don't get it.
He has that background and he wants to show it off, man. That's it. That's all it is.
Tom was the better drummer. Or no, just John.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the fucking Blink. I don't know the Blink lore. I'm sorry. I don't.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
I cannot sleep. I cannot drink tonight.
Oh my god. I listened. Okay, this is off topic, but I listened to a Fall Out Boy track because it was playing on my radio before I went on air. And oh man, I was like, this is what Fall Out Boy sounds like that isn't the singles. Because honestly, I've never really taken a dive into the Fall Out Boy without listening to like the big singles, like I don't know, Thanks for the Memories or whatever the fuck, whatever Fall Out Boy song you love. But like, it was bad, but it was like there was two separate sections of the song. It was I don't exactly remember the track, but it was like a really really pop punky emo track that kind of burst into like not a deathcore track, but I guess a modern metal track with like a heavy scream over the whole thing while they're doing the whatever. It was a very big shock to me to hear what a non-single Fall Out Boy sounded like, and I thought that had some relevance to the Travis Barker discussion. I also I saw that horrible tagline. We can read it. We can talk about that.
Dude, why does Michael Stripper of Stripper or is it
Striper?
Yeah, Stripers. Michael Sweet thinks it's only a matter of time until the Bible is canceled. Dude, I'm done.
What do you think? What do you think about that?
The Bible's already been canceled. We need freedom of speech in this. Dude, we literally live in 1984.
Yeah, we do.
Oh my god, I hate vocal chud rock conservatives. Shut the fuck up, okay?
Yeah.
You don't have a victim complex. No one is trying to oppress you.
They do have a victim complex,
Well,
but
yes,
no one
you're
is
not a
trying to
victim.
oppress you. You're not a victim. Yes.
Ugh, it's so gross.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I assume that was in response to the Dr. Seuss thing. Like, spoiler alert: we probably shouldn't be selling children's books which depicts Jews. I'm Jewish, so I can say that. Asian people and African American people as subhuman, or depicts them with racial stereotypes, because then that's going to inform your 4-year-old's development. Like, this isn't rocket science, people. There's a fine line between advocating for conservative beliefs and advocating for racial bigotry.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's bad, but chud rockers will chud rock, dude.
Dude, if I were a liberal, by Stain's frontman.
Five Finger Death Punch made money off of that track and that music video.
Dude, we're all living the dream.
We're all just living the dream. Anyway, let's talk about some new music. We can break away from the news topic today. Like I said, new Drake dropping tonight, for anyone that cares. I don't.
Dude, rap Drake or pop Drake?
I have no idea. Who cares? New Wolfheart EP coming out tomorrow on Napalm.
Woo, yeah.
I just saw that, so I thought I'd mention it. As for better and more underground releases coming out tomorrow, I'm sure there's quite a few.
I feel like not too much is dropping.
Not too much, you're right.
Wolvenest, Based.
Mork is has been hyped up quite a bit. Mork is a
Abominable Putridity.
Yeah, nice. There's a Belgian group called Koldovstvo that there's a couple of singles that I think are pretty good. It's super duper lo-fi black metal. It's even like quiet. It's to the point where it's quiet, and I think it's pretty good. They're dropping their debut tomorrow. New Mork coming out. That's pretty big. Let's see what else. I really don't even have that much.
Nightfall.
I have to add a
Knife.
Psalm. Endless Funeral, Black Knife, yeah, Thorium, Nightfall, Based, Woven X.
Oh, Flesh of the Stars are dropping an EP.
Yep.
I like Flesh of the Stars.
Acid Mammoth, they had a pretty good album last year. They're dropping a new one tomorrow too.
Yeah, no, I love their logo.
Yeah, it's very cool. Let's see some other stuff perhaps.
Adam, dude, all I'm saying, don't waste your time on me. You're already the voice inside my head.
There's not too much coming out tomorrow. Last week was big release week, so definitely check out.
That's it. We doing an Architects cast instead of Blackwater Park or what?
We'll see what happens. But this has been the PMMetalGuide podcast. Still life. Album.
Still live.
Still life. Good.
I'm Sam. That's Adam. Next week we're talking about the best goddamn metal album of the past 20 years. Blackwater Park.
Yep.
Anthony Fantano. Forever.